Somebody asked if he's my son.
He's a sugar daddy. Oh, he's got daddy issues.
TikTok. So I hate TikTok. Oh God, what am I doing here?
My name is Aaron. I'm 28 years old and I'm in a 37-year age gap relationship with my husband, Mike.
I hate to do this, 66, I'm pretty sure.
And Mike is 7 years older than my mother.
I originally met him about 6 years ago in New York when he was doing an internship.
Initially, it was a grinder hookup. I was kind of living my best gay life in New York, just being young and free out there.
Within 10 minutes, I knew he had so many of the characteristics I look for in somebody. I just fell for him.
When I first saw Michael, I just thought he was hot. He was my perfect type. To put it in a sense, he's like the porn basically I watched. I told him I wasn't looking for something serious. I was in New York, I was here for fun.
I just thought of it as a summer fling as he did. And I also never pursued it because his age.
We didn't leave on the best of terms.
We were not talking because he was going back to Dublin and I was in New York.
We didn't see each other for 2.5 years.
I remember it was Thanksgiving Day, he called me. I was just thrilled. We texted back and forth for 2.5 years. And he asked me to come to Dublin to visit him.
Then he came back over and I would say he never left. I'm obviously glad he never left.
I got out of the cab and I looked at this house and I sat on the curb. I'm like, what am I doing here?
In my head, it was just let's have sex, sex, sex. It wasn't probably until, I suppose, COVID hit, because we were spending 24 hours a day continuously with each other. I know in an outer sense, it looks like it was like a whirlwind, but it never felt like that.
It felt like I just knew him my whole life.
So when we go out, no, I'm not, I don't really care if people are looking at us. I'll just take that as a compliment in some sort of way. We get quite a laugh out of it if someone goes, oh, is this your son or is this your nephew? And you're like, no, we're married. They're kind of just like, oh, oh.
It's funny, in the gym in our building, somebody asked if he's my son. I thought it was funny because we're working out together.
It's bizarre because I swear I'm the more mature one, he's the more immature one, but you don't see that until you actually meet us.
People said to me, watch your money or make sure you've got everything taken care of, and that he's a money grabber.
If it's 15, 20 years, it's oh, well then he's a sugar daddy, or well then, oh, he's got daddy issues. Someone could comment on social media and be like, oh, I'll get that money when he's dead or something. It's such a horrible thing to say regardless of absolutely anything. I've always been into older. I've never oh, what's your bank balance? I could work my balls off and, be really successful. Someone's gonna message me online, oh, he's still your sugar daddy.
People ask us some really stupid questions. Are you monogamous? Do you have 3 ways? And who's the top and who's the bottom? Yes, we're monogamous. No, we don't fool around, and it's none of your business. I was never asked those questions when I was straight.
I tried to tell my mother that I was gay a few years beforehand. She was like, no, it's a phase. And I'm like, do you know what, ma'am? Yeah, look, it's probably a phase. But then, when Mike proposed to me, I was like, well, I probably should tell my mother, I'm not gonna keep this a secret. So I just literally video called her. I was like, ma'am, by the way, I'm getting married. And also it's to an older man.
She's been wonderful actually, and she's told me a few times, she said, I'm so glad you're in his life.
It's quite funny as well because she always calls him her boy to him. She's like, oh, my 2 boys. Yeah. There was 2 factors to why we started Queer Daze. I thought it was something we could do together. But one of the, I suppose the biggest factor was it because, if I was growing up, I want to see real gay life stories, because it would have made me feel a whole lot more comfortable growing up that these things can happen.
Aaron's kind of the creative one in the relationship, and so he kind of figures out a lot of the YouTubes, what we're gonna do and stuff, and the TikToks. I hate TikTok. I just don't understand it. Oh. I do what Aaron tells me, yes. I came out when I was probably about 40. I always hid it. And the work I did would not have been accepted at all. And my family, I was never that close with. And I certainly wasn't ready to tell them something like that. And you build up walls. One day, my mom called and she asked if I was gay, and I said yes. She proceeded to say, well, I just want you to know, it was sweet. She said, if anybody's gay and their parents don't accept them, they don't deserve to be parents. I'm really sad that my mom was not around to meet Aaron. I think she would have loved him. I'm 38 years older. Most likely, if things work right, I will die before him. And I wanted him to be thoroughly aware of that.
It sounds bizarre, but it never dawned on me. So yeah, that freaks me out.
I'd had a living will previously, which is saying the way you would like to die. You don't want to be on a respirator. You don't want to be, I don't know what you call it, brought back to life and all this stuff. And I asked him to sign it. And he was very resistant.
I was like, what is that? And like, I goes, you're not dying here. Like, so take that away from me. I finally found this person that makes me calm, that, I'm enjoying being in this relationship. And I finally found it all. It's all coming together. And then people are even like, Mike would be like, well, I could die one day. And I'm like, well, Jesus, I might fucking die one day too. It brings everything back down to like a sudden realization that like, you don't get to have everything forever.
My greatest wish for you find 2 more older men to marry and have 10 wonderful years with.
He's always like, you'll find 1 or 2 more people. And I find that offensive because I wasn't even expecting to find you. I never expected to find my person, the person that I feel that most comfortable with, the person that I want to be with every second.
Sometimes I feel like, I get up in the morning and go, oh God, my feet hurt or this hurt or that hurt. I just don't want to say anything because I don't want them to think that I could be getting older.
All of a sudden I'm like, a little more conscious. I'd be like, oh Mike, let's go on a roller coaster and let's do all these things, or just like random stuff together. It makes me just, I suppose, grab him tighter every moment. So I'm like, now I feel like I have to protect him from the world, to be honest. Which is, it's a little intense sometimes. It's a little tough to deal with.
I spoke about in the past, Aaron, the possibility of Aaron sleeping with other people. When I'm getting older, or if I'm sick, I don't know what happens when you get that old, but you don't want sex, you can't have sex or whatever. Sleeping with one person once, it's fine. If he wants to go and find another one, fine.
It wouldn't work. I know him too much to know that wouldn't work. But I'm also have this sense of confidence because I also know that his thing will always work. He probably has a bigger sex drive than me.
Don't you dare. When I moved here, I really don't know anybody. And really all I really want to do is be with Aaron, but it's not that we're here because in this house because we're lonely. We still love each other's company and we really have to force ourselves for a big part to, get out. The black one with the... it's very difficult because Aaron's friends that he had before me, they're all single and they're just going to the bars. We go out with his friends, they'll be texting, looking for a hookup and this and that. And, I just want to take their phone and throw it. Don't take my skin off this time. You got it?
I got it.
Too much? A lot of times these bars are so noisy and stuff. If I'm with good friends, it's one thing, but when I'm with like kind of strangers, people I know that, well, I don't want to shout and say, what'd you say? What'd you say? It just, it's not, for me, maybe it's an age gap thing. I've had my club days. Yeah. I think Aaron has too, though.
Yeah, that's fair. I met most of my friends through sex parties, which is, it's quite ironic. And they're the friends I still have today. One day we were at one of my friends' house and we thought we were just going back for drinks and it ended up being a sex party. And I think they thought they could probably convince us, but we were like, no, we're just going home. And they was like, oh, that's fine. I didn't exactly leave this wild lifestyle in the sense, I think it's still pretty wild being with Mike. If I said, take your pants off in the street, he would do it. Like he's that kind of guy.
We've kind of experienced the same things, but in very, very different ways. I lived in, I guess you would call it Hollywood or Beverly Hills, and so I'd be at a lot of these wild parties, like for Mick Jagger, Elton John and stuff, or people having orgies. Since I've been with Aaron, we've become much more of home buddies, I guess, just because, we love each other's company.
Most time we're either in bed or out on the terrace. Sometimes I feel guilty that I'm not going out, but I don't feel upset about not going out because I quite enjoy staying in.
With Aaron, I feel very safe. I am not afraid anymore.
I think my whole life just clicked into place when it was him. The whole anxiousness went away. From a young age, I knew I wasn't older, I knew I was gay, and I was okay with that, but I didn't say that to the world. With Mike, I said that to the world. Even though the things that I'll find annoying, I love it because that is him. And honestly, I just love him as a whole. He is, that crazy little fucker. Like, that will always be him, and he couldn't be anyone else if he tried. Half of me wishes we were in the same era, because I wanted to be with him from start to finish. But obviously the other half is then, well, if we were born in the same era, would I be attracted to him? You could take away our ages, and I think, we're just two guys, that fell in love. It's never about the age, it's about the person.
It's a true grind your love story.